Oh, it looks like a rowdy bunch. It's kind of like the church I go to. Man, alive. We're the Moron brothers, and we feel proud and honored that y'all have come out and supported this tonight. We really do. These people come from Tennessee, Georgia, West Virginia, Indiana, and it really makes us feel honored. We're here to have fun, forget all this old garbage about the coronavirus and stuff. My wife's been under quarantine for 8 weeks now. I'll be glad she can come back in the house.
Tell them something. I'm watching you little eyes flash.
A little squirrel dog, Chigger. She'll be glad when she can come back in the house too, the wife. She don't like my cooking. Well, brother, this Christmas show make me think about the Christmases we used to have. We had some good ones. You remember that year I got that new Rollins ball glove?
Yeah, I remember.
What'd you get that year?
Toilet brush.
He loved that little toilet brush. He thought it was a magic wand or something. He walked around holding it all day. I'll tell you, I like that ball glove real well.
I'm happy for you.
How'd you like your little toilet brush?
It's all right. Not think I'm going to go back paper.
Never mind, we won't go into that. Boy, it's good to hear people laugh. It's been a long time since we've done a live show, and we liable to forget the word these songs and stuff, but we're going to have fun anyway.
What we do?
It's Christmas.
See?
Yeah. You can tell he's really practiced hard on this right here. But talking about Christmases in the past, why, we growed up in the country and we didn't have a lot of money for instruments, ornaments and stuff for the tree. And we'd string, I don't know, y'all, bet you a lot of y'all remember this. You'd string popcorn up on a thread and use it for the garland around the tree. Some of y'all have done that, bound to. I know I ain't the only old person in here. And take the cardboard and cut out a star and put tinfoil around it, put it on top of the tree. Well, one of the best Christmases we ever had, I wrote a song about it. Oh, I was in D there for Chad.
All right, then. We're rehearsing.
This is streaming live all over the world. I'm glad. But anyway, the best Christmas we ever had, we'll just go on into it. When Christmas come to the country was a happy time of year. Mama bake a jam cake, cook an old wild goose, there's hard candy everywhere. Little old sharecropper shack beam with happiness. There's the one Christmas that we'll never forget, turned out to be the best. A few days before Christmas, Dad hitched a mule to an old mud sled he made. We'd go down to holler us kids at the faller and spend most half the day. We'd hunt till we found the biggest and the fluffiest cedar tree by far. Take it home and trim it with popcorn, top it with a tinfoil star. I was the littlest one that year. Daddy held me way up high. When I placed a star on top of the tree, something in it caught my eye. Was a big old gray paper ball. What it was, I couldn't guess. When things warmed up on Christmas Eve, it turned out to be a hornet's nest. Hornets was a buzzing, Mama was a fussing. One to my cousin on his left ear, running hard as we'd go through the drifting snow. Had to spend Christmas in the barn that year. When things cooled off, Daddy went back in and told us to stay where we was at. Grabbed coats and quilts and Mama's old Bible, fighting hornets with his hat. That night we huddled together, keep each other warm. Mama read from the Bible about the first family that ever spent Christmas in a barn. Next morning we went back in, and we thought them hornets had froze. Mama started cooking up a Christmas dinner. Daddy built a fire in the stove. All the kids started playing. Once again the house got hot. Daddy took a bite of goose and he turned it loose. Said, run for all you got. Hornet was a buzzing, Mama was a fussing. One time I cut it on his right ear, running hard we'd go through the drifting snow. Had to spend Christmas in the barn that year. Well, we all still get together, still go to Mom and Dad's. Love to tell the story about the best Christmas we ever had. How that night we huddled together, keep each other warm. Mama still reads the Bible about the first family that ever spent Christmas in the barn. Hornet was a buzzing, Mama was a fussing. One time I cut it to his underwear, running hard we'd go through the drifting snow. Had to spend Christmas in the barn that year. The best Christmas spent in the barn that year. You gotta.
Oh, thank y'all.
Gotta have a sick mind to come up with something like that, but I wrote that song, and Chet Atkins says you gotta make it funny. I was talking to him on the phone at the time, and he said, make it funny. He said, put a hornet's nest in it somewhere. So I did. But
This is where we graduated from high school.
You ain't a kidding, boy. This
Right
is where
around the
we
corner,
we did. Went to school right here. This wasn't here then, this theater, but
High school. Ardo said that was the happiest 6 years of his life.
he was a little bit behind me. They held him back in the 5th grade. They didn't want him to be in the same class as Daddy. Boy, it's good to hear people laugh, I'll tell you.
Boy, I got a bunch of grandkids. I didn't know I had so many grandkids.
I know it. Yeah, you'll know it when you get the bill Christmas time after buying them all something.
There's Lucas. You know Lucas, number one grandson out there.
Yeah, I know Lucas.
He's in college.
In college?
Asbury, he college boy down at Asbury. Yeah, he went in there, he was signing up for his classes, and he needed one more class, and there was a guy in there who said, look, I'm teaching a class on bird watching. And he said, it's easy, and said, you get a half a credit. I said, fill out your schedule and everything. He said, yeah, I'll do it. Real nice guy. He got signed up for bird watching class. Well, when he got in there that day, that feller had broke his leg and couldn't be there. Had this old mean professor. He come in there and slammed the door. So everybody sit down and shut up. Lucas said, wow, that guy's hateful. He said, I don't want no talking, no look around in here, I want you to pay attention. Lucas said, well, my goodness, this guy's kind of hateful. He said, I want you to get out pencil and paper, I'm going to give you a test. Lucas said, test? It's our first day in bird watching class, and he's going to give us a test? It's stupid. He said, I'm going to show you some pictures of some bird legs, and I want you to tell me what kind of bird it is. Lucas said, that's the stupidest thing ever I heard. He sat there, and so Lucas said, this is stupid. Our first day in bird watching class, and you go show us a picture of bird legs, and I want to tell you what kind of bird it is. And I ain't taking your stupid test. Professor said, all right, then you're getting an F. What's your name? Lucas stood up, put his pant leg up his knees, said, you so smart, you tell me.
There you go, Lucas. He's tough one, that Lucas is. Hey, we got our old buddy Jim and Janet Parsons come down here from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Where are they? Where's Jim and Janet? Right there they are. Man in the front row and center there. Jim, I'm going to tell this on you. I hope you don't mind, buddy. But his wife, Janet, she had a good friend who lived in Indianapolis and went to one of them great big churches, and they was having a Christmas play there at the church. And Janet wanted to go to see that Christmas play at that big, nice, fancy church. Well, Jim didn't want to drive all the way to Indianapolis, but he said, I'll do anything for Janet. So they went to the church. Went in there, and boy, it was a big place. They had a chandelier hanging, a big balcony and stuff in the back. They was getting ready to start the play, and they had a bunch of young ladies sitting on the front row of the balcony up there. And I think they might have been cheerleaders or something, because they really got excited somewhere during the play. And one of them young ladies accidentally fell out of that balcony, but she dived for the chandelier and caught it. And she's swinging out over the congregation. Don't get ahead of me now. And the preacher hollered out on the microphone, said, any man looks up right now is going to be blinded. Jim said, I'm going to take a chance on this left eye.
How you doing, Jim? My fingers are holding on. All right, then.
Lord. No, I told you we were going to have a good time. We let me get this thing to...
It'll be the first time. Got another grandson sitting there. I got a bunch of grandsons.
Who?
Reed. He grandson number 2. Reed Allen, you know him.
I know Reed. He's tougher than woodpecker lips.
Been a few years ago, he was out in the backyard digging a hole, and the old man next door looked over the fence and said, hey, boy, what you digging that hole for? Reed said, I got to bury my parakeet. He said, ain't that an awful big hole for a parakeet? He said, yeah, not really. He's inside your cat.
What about old Tojo there? What was he doing with that cat the other day?
He was baptizing the cat.
Baptizing the cat?
Well, him and his sisters are Izzy, Addie, and Evie. You know Izzy, Addie, and Evie.
I know them, yeah.
They come in the house, and they was scratched all to pieces. Courtney said, what in the world have y'all been doing? They said, we've been baptizing the cat. She said, you ever think maybe that cat didn't want to be baptized? They said he should have thought about that before he joined our church.
Talking about cats, I'm got to tell this one right quick. It was one Christmas there we was had there at the house. I remember he was awful bad sick with the whooping cough. And I don't know, I think they've outlawed this stuff now. I ain't seen it in a long time, called castor oil. They like to kill some people. They like to kill us. Mom would give it to us no matter what happened. I stuck a nail in my foot one time and made me drink a half a bottle. Said it won't hurt you. She gave him a whole bottle one time for the whooping cough. It cured him. He was scared to death to cough, boy.
I didn't want to run my new Kmart shoes.
Tell him about the cats.
We had an old tomcat hung around there all the time. One day, Mama had that bottle out, giving us a dose of that castor oil, and she spilled it, and it fell out on the floor and spilled all over the floor. That old tomcat licked up about a half a bottle of castor oil. We washed him there, and about an hour later, up on the ridge, he had 6 more cats with him. 2 digging, 2 covering, and 2 hunting new territory. Look over here. I want you to look.
Yeah,
Nathan,
Jonathan Raider. Jonathan growed up on us.
Now, Jonathan used to get on stage with the Moron brothers, but he went on to bigger and better things. He's an Elvis impersonator. And if you ever get to go see him, you need to see him. He's good. He got invited to Graceland to help with the Christmas lighting down there.
Yeah.
But bless his heart, he's grown up now, but
he don't want to fool with us no more.
Back when he's about 5 years old, they laying in bed one night, he hollered in there and said, Daddy. He said, what, son? He said, you bring me a drink of water? He said, it's too late, son, go to sleep. About 5 minutes later, Daddy. He said, what, son? Bring me a drink of water?
Come on.
He said, I told you it's too late, go to sleep. You can have some water in the morning. About 5 minutes later, Daddy. He said, what? Bring me a drink of water. He said, I told you ain't getting no water.
He's killing me.
Go to sleep. If you ask me one more time for a drink of water, I'm coming in there and give you a whooping. About 5 minutes later, Daddy. He said, what? When you come in there and give me a whooping, you bring me a drink of water.
I want you to look on that microphone right here, on the microphone. There's a stink bug streaming live with us right there.
It came out of your pocket.
No, I didn't.
Even the bug couldn't stand it. Stink bug couldn't. I'll tell you, I ain't lying this time.
Come on, we got to do
Back
the song.
in summer, he lived down on the river, you know. He lived down on the. This thing ain't gonna quit.
Just knock him off her.
He went right back. Anyway, back to summer. You know, Lardo lives right down on the Kentucky River, and he had the windows open. It was a good night, it was a cool night, and he left the windows open. He woke up next morning. There's a skunk in the bed with him.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, the smell was so bad, the skunk got up and left.
A few years ago, it's been several years ago now, I was watching TV with my granddaughter, and they come on there, and it was on Black Friday, and they was people was pushing and shoving and fighting over Christmas gifts, and I sat there and watched that for a while, and I said, why they put that on television? There's kids watching and stuff, you know, and that's the real world, I guess. But my granddaughter, Savannah, she said, that ain't what Christmas is all about. What's the matter with them people? I said, honey, there's a lot of people don't understand what Christmas is really all about. And I got to thinking, I said, well, maybe I need to write a song and tell them. And so for my granddaughter and everybody that don't understand the true meaning of Christmas, I come up with this. Christmas had always been a most happy time. Thinking back on my childhood, a favorite of mine. I'd lie in bed restless all night Christmas Eve, wondering what old Santa Claus had brought me. I still see a red wagon underneath of the tree. The year I got the new bike was special to me. I slowly grew older, the true meaning meant more. Best Christmas present ever came from a store. Oh, the best Christmas present I ever received came from God the Father the day I believe. He gave us forgiveness for the wrong we had done on the very first Christmas when He gave us His Son. Hard candy, fruit baskets, goodwill in the air. Family would gather that time every year. All exchange presents, sing songs, laugh and shout. Best Christmas present, what it all was about. Oh, the best Christmas present I ever received came from God the Father the day I believed. He gave us forgiveness for the wrong we had done on the very first Christmas when He gave us His Son. Now as I sit and watch all the young ones play, I thank God I still feel that old joy that way. I tell them of the best gifts so they'll know, and then Christmas will always be happy for them. Oh, the best Christmas present I ever received came from God the Father the day I believed. He gave us forgiveness for the wrong we had done on the very first Christmas when He gave us His Son. Happy birthday, dear Jesus. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank y'all. I'm going to keep my eye on that right there from Indiana, that gal. I'll tell you why. We was playing out in Branson, Missouri a few years ago, and there was a woman sitting on the front row. Her water broke. She wasn't even pregnant. I don't know what happened to her. Anyway.
You asked me about Toll Joe. There's Toll Joe. I see him there. You know, he started school last year in first grade, and they took him down there to the cafeteria and had a big bowl of apples there. And the teacher said, Christian, just get one. God's watching. He went on down there on the end, got him an apple, went on down there and had a big bowl of cookies. He told his buddy, he said, get all these cookies you want. God's watching them apples.
What did he said about the mouse, Granny?
Yeah, he come in there here a couple weeks ago.
I heard a little bit.
Lap. He said, Paul, how much water does a mouse have in it? I said, I don't know, about half a thimble, I reckon. He said, nah, he's got more than that. I said, how you know? He said, one just ran up Granny's paint leg. He said she caught it right there and squeezed it, and I bet you 2 gallons run out of it.
Well, we was in Fitch's IGA the other day. I talked to them people there. Y'all went and got you one of them fried bologna sandwiches at Fitch's. Man, I could eat one with a foot in the fire. They're so good. But y'all need to go over and check Fitch's out in Wilmore and get you one. We went in there to get breakfast early. It's been 4 or 5 days ago, and hadn't been many people in there. And Leonard come back there and he had a roll of $20 bills with a rubber band around it. He said he found it in one of the aisles there. He said, "Does this belong to y'all?" And I said, "No, it don't belong to neither one of us." He said, "Well, there ain't been but 3 other people in here before y'all." I said, "One of them's that lawyer feller over in Nicholsville. He's an honest guy. I know him. I can't think of his name. Another one, I can't think of his name. He's a respectable politician there out of Nicholsville. And the third guy was Santa Claus." Burley said, "Well, it had to be Santa Claus because there ain't no such thing as them other 2. Honest lawyer and a respectable politician. All right, brother.
I think they've had an ugly contest here tonight.
Why's that?
Because I think the 2 that come in first and second is sitting right over there. Doug Fain, Tom
Oh, now don't start.
I think they said Doug come in first and third.
Doug Fain, Tommy Cobb. I know Tommy runs a nice bank here in town. If you get a chance, go down there. If you're looking for a good bank to go to, go down there. He runs a good one. But
if you're looking to go to jail, go to Doug Fain's circuit court.
No. Anyway, we went into Tommy Cobb Bank before we got to know him real well, and we was going to get us some sound equipment. That stuff is high, you know. Thought maybe it'd help us get another job. We was going to borrow some money. And little gal up front said, "Well, Mr. Cobb's up there." Said, "Go see him. He'll loan you the money." We went up there, and Burley got kind of smart-aleck with him, and I don't think Tommy liked it too much, but said, "Mr. Cobb, we'd like to borrow some money." He said, "I need a financial statement." Burley said, "A penny saved is a penny earned." He said, "I've dealt with y'all before. Y'all are good guys and everything, but you need to go on back down there to that river bottom because you ain't nothing but ignorant hillbillies." I said, "Well, now, wait a minute." I said, "You can't call people that no more." He said, "Well, what are you?" I said, "That's politically incorrect. We're Appalachian Americans." He said, "You're troublemakers and you hicks. You know what we do with hicks in the city?" I said, "No, but I know what we do with cobs in the country." I'm just kidding. He's a nice guy. I'm just kidding, Tommy. You know I am. He's one of our bestest buddies.
You know, they robbed the bank. We got a buddy over in Parrots, West Virginia. He used to be sheriff over there. And the guy robbed the bank over one day with the FBI come in there and to investigate their bank robbery. And well, you know, how every small town's got a town idiot, you know. We got one here. But anyway, they arrested the town idiot, said he's one who robbed the bank. Well, everybody said it couldn't be him. He's too stupid to rob a bank. Well, they went to court. They all testified on his behalf. Jury went out, come back in. The judge said, "All right, what's the verdict?" They said, "Not guilty." The old boy jumped up, hollered, thank you, hallelujah, thank you. Looked over at the judge, said, "Do I get to keep the money?"
Talking about country, it's been about 3 or 4 years ago now. I went down to Breathitt County to spend some time with my buddy about this time of year, me and my cousin. And down there in the mountains, Brother Bill will tell you about this. People lives in hollers and stuff, and they had a big Christmas party up in this holler in Breathitt County. up at the head of the holler, and we got to go to it and was invited. And it was, it just impressed me so much that I come home and wrote a song about it. I ain't done it for a long time, but it's called Christmas in the Mountains. Well, it's Christmas in the mountains, I'm glad it's finally here. Kin of folk have come out of the wood that we ain't seen since last year. Yonder comes old Levi with a shotgun and his dog. This year he brought a big doe deer, last year he brought a wild hog. Tune up the old banjo and a rosin up the fiddle bow. We'll play every song we know. Look outside, it's starting to snow. Barn is all fixed up real nice. Christmas tree and Christmas lights celebrate the birth of Christ. Christmas in the mountains. Well, it's Christmas in the mountains, kinfolk is a-coming in. Here comes Luke with all them kids, he must have 8 or 10. Mama's fixed a country ham, homemade cakes out of homemade jam. I'm so glad I'm who I am, it's Christmas in the mountains. Yeah, tune up that old banjo and a rosin up the fiddle bow. We'll play every song we know. Look outside, it's starting to snow. Barn is all fixed up real nice. Christmas tree and Christmas lights celebrate the birth of Christ. It's Christmas in the mountains. Pick one, brother. It's Christmas in the mountains, I'm glad it's finally here. There's a pot of shuck beans on the stove and the coal smoke in the air. Women and folk are busy and the kids are having fun. Later on the men folk will go out and shoot their guns. Tune up the old banjo and the rosin up the fiddle bow. We'll play every song we know. Look outside, it's starting to snow. Barn is all fixed up real nice. Christmas tree and Christmas lights celebrate the birth of Christ. It's Christmas in the mountains. It's Christmas in the mountains. There's some mountain folks in here. I know every year at Christmas time, men folks all got to go out and shoot their guns, boy.
Told Joe last year at Christmas, he sat there playing in the floor with all his toys. I said, Santa Claus was good to you, wasn't he? He said, yes, sir. I said, do you know where Santa Claus lives? He says, according to these toys, China. Look here, there's some older folks in the crowd. And I hate to do this, but you're gonna find out sooner or later.
We don't want no bad news tonight.
Well, it ain't. Well, they're gonna find out sooner or later. It's fresh off the social media. If you can't believe him, who can you believe? It says here, in order to help save the economy and lower Social Security and Medicare costs, the federal government will announce next month that the Immigration Department will start deporting senior citizens.
Give me that.
They were going to deport illegal aliens, but realized old people are easier to catch and won't remember how to get back home. See you on the bus, Ollie.
I think we've done enough talking. We need to go on and play this song. You remember we got that big grandfather's clock. Had a rich uncle. He gave us a grandfather's clock. It was a beautiful thing for Christmas one time. Boy, we just couldn't get over that thing. We fooled with it and fooled with it. And I got to thinking about that the other day and reminded me of this old song. It's a pretty song. We used to play it. You kick it off, and we've done enough talking. They want to hear some music. So you just go right on into it.
What is it?
Grandfather's clock.
All right.
Did you take your medicine this morning?
here one day this past week, I was going in the Walmart store up at the edge of town.
I'm glad you told him not to go into nothing and just kick it right off.
And I got Walmart up here on the edge of town. And I got up there at the door getting ready to go
pulled in the parking lot, and
Walmart.
there was a guy pushing about 20 of them carts across there. He hollered out the window at him, said, "Hey, buddy, don't you think somebody else want to use one of them?" Stupid. Just do the song.
The other day up here at this Walmart up here at the edge of town, I went up there and I was getting ready to go in. I got up there at the door just
They
ready
had
to
the
go in.
blood
This
mobile
fella-
up there by the front door.
It's a super
Yeah,
Walmart.
and it was they was taking blood, you know, and I'm trying to help everybody I can. He was scared of needles, but I went up there and I walked in there, and there's an old boy laying there, and they drawing blood out of his arm. And I didn't know him. I know about everybody in town. I said, "Pal, you ain't from around here, are you?" He said, "No, Cherokee, North Carolina." I said, "Well, are you Indian?" He said, "Yep." I said, "Full-blooded?" He said, "Not right now. I'm about a half pint low." What's the hold up here?
A couple weeks ago, I was going to the Walmart up here at the edge of town. It's up there on the hill, going out. And
The lady
I
in
got
there
up there
had been to the doctor.
door.
When we got in there, she'd been to the doctor.
At the Walmart up here on the edge
And
of town.
she just had a little patch on her eye or something, you know, where she'd been to the doctor. And she had that patch on her eye. I said, "Oh, Burley, look at that woman, one eye." He said, "All right, where?" Why can't you do the song? Just do the song. Go.
I'm here a while back, up here at the edge of town. I was going in the Walmart store up there on Main Street.
Hey, you
I
remember
got
that
up
girl
there-
we saw in there?
No, I got
Yes,
up
you do too.
at the.
Oh, we saw old gal in there. You used to know her back here when we was going to high school. I did too.
I don't know nothing about it.
I knowed her pretty good, buddy. Yep, I hadn't seen her for years and years and years. She had her back to me. I said, "Well, I'm going to surprise her." I eased up behind her and I put my hands on her shoulder. She jumped up and turned around and screamed. It wasn't who I thought it was. And scared me, scared her. I said, "I'm sorry, you look like Helen Brown." She said, "Well, you ought to see me in my blue dress." Please do the song.
I remember one time I was going in the Kmart store. I got up there at the door and this fella come walking out of it carrying a big grandfather clock. Boy, he was right back strutting. He come out and this old drunk come around the corner, run into him, knocked him down, broke his grandfather clock all over the side. Well, I got mad. He jumped up, hollered, "Won't you, what are you going?" Old drunk said, "Won't you carry a pocket watch like I do?"
My grandfather's clock was too tall for the shelf, so it stood many years on the floor. It was taller by far than the old man himself, though it weighed not a penny weight more. It was bought on the morn of the day that he was born, and always his treasure and pride. But it stopped once, never to run again, on the day that the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, life's seconds numbering. Stopped once, never to run again, on the day that the old man died. In watching its pendulum swing to and fro, many hours he spent as a boy. And in childhood and manhood the clock seemed to know, and sharing his grief and his joy. It struck 24 when he walked through the door with a blooming and beautiful bride. And it stopped once, never to run again on the day that the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, life's seconds numbering. Stopped once, never to run again on the day that the old man died. It rang an alarm in the dead of night, an alarm that for years had been dumb. And we knew that his soul was plummeting on its flight, his hour of departure had come. Still the clock kept its time with a soft and muffled chime. We silently stood by its side. Then it stopped once, never to run again on the day that the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, life's seconds numbering. Stopped once, never to run again on the day that the old man died.
Oh, thank y'all.
That's a pretty old song right there.
Tell you what, no kidding, talking about the Walmart. I ain't lying this time. Walmart up here, been a couple weeks ago, something, they want a new manager. Well, 3 of the Walmart manager guys put in for the job up here with the district supervisor, manager. He said, all 3 of you's qualified, but said I can't hire but one. So I tell you what to do. I'll ask you a question. Whoever gives me the best answer, I'll give him the job. Well, he asked the first old boy, said, in your opinion, what's the fastest thing in the world? And he said, a thought. He said, a thought. He said, yes, it ain't there, it is. He said, that's a pretty good answer. I wouldn't never thought of that. Asked the second old boy, said, in your opinion, what's the fastest thing in the world? The old boy said, a light. He said, a light. He said, yep. He said, ain't there. He hit a switch. There it is. Hit it, gone. He said, that's a pretty good answer right there. Asked that third old boy, said, Alan. His name's Alan Dixon. But anyway, he said, Alan, in your opinion, what's the fastest thing in the world? He said, diarrhea. He said, do what? He said, diarrhea. He said, man, what's wrong with you? This first guy said a thought, and that's a good answer. And this guy said a light, and that's a good answer. You come up with diarrhea. How you figure that? He said, cause before you can even think about turning the light on, it's too late. You can see him up here at this Walmart on Main Street. He got the job. You know why you can't never get a straight answer from a landscaper?
No.
They always beat around the bush. But that mind me, Brother Bill, David Gross.
Yeah.
They was out there at church one day sitting on the tailgate of the truck, and a flatbed truckload of sod come driving by. David Gross said, if I ever win the lottery, that's what I want to do right there. Brother Bill said, what's that? He said, send my grass off somewhere and have it cut. Got another son here.
I heard Brother Bill ask David Gross there at church the other day, talking about Thanksgiving. He said, you know how to keep a turkey in suspense? David Gross said, no. He said, I'll tell you in a couple of weeks. That's a good one there, I thought.
Got another son here, too.
You got a bunch of kids here.
I got them scattered over. But anyway.
I don't believe that last one that was up here was yours. He's too good.
The other one's a plumber. Now, some people call him Mike, but his real name's Brother. but he's a plumber. He's the only one in the family that don't bite his fingernails. Which reminds me of a little story I heard a few years ago. This couple had this parrot, and all it could say was, "Who is it? Who is it?" Well, one day the lady was getting ready to go. She said, "I've got to go to the doctor." Told her husband, said, "The plumber's coming. Make sure you're here so you can let the plumber in." He said, "All right, then." She left. Well, he was going to make him a sandwich. Didn't have no bread. He said, "Doggone, I got to have some bread." He said, "Well, I'll run down the corner real quick store. I'll be back before the plumber gets here." He takes off, but the plumber pulls up. Walks up on the porch, knocks on the door. Parrot holler, "Who is it?" He said, "It's the plumber." Nothing happened. About 2 or 3 minutes, he knocks on the door again. Parrot said, "Who is it?" He said, "It's the plumber." Another 2 more minutes, nothing happened. He knocked on the door. He's getting frustrated. He said, "Who is it?" He said, "It's the plumber. I told you, the plumber." Well, he kept on, got so frustrated, his blood pressure shot up, his sugar dropped, had a heat stroke, and passed out right there on the front porch. Guy come driving up in the driveway, got out, and the neighbor run over and said, "Who is it?" Parrot hollered, "It's the plumber."
Talking about the parakeet, I've been meaning to ask you. It's been about 2 years ago. Christmas come along. We got a friend lives in South America. He lives in Miami, Florida. That's about South in America you can get. And he sends us a big Christmas present every year. He sent me a basket of mangoes and guavas and grapefruit. I don't know what all that stuff was. I ate most of it. But he sent him a big orange, blue, green looking paw parrot. It is a pretty thing. I've been meaning to ask you how you like your paw parrot you got for Christmas.
I like him a lot. Tasted like chicken.
You mean you eat that parrot?
That's how I know he tasted like chicken.
Did you know he could speak 3 languages?
He just said something. In English. I wonder what he meant, but nada. All right, then.
I remember one year for Christmas, you got a football. That was funny to me. Tell them about what happened to your football.
It was at Christmas, and all I got for Christmas was football. And everybody said, "Why don't you go outside and play for football?" I said, "I won't get it dirty. It's the one thing I got for Christmas." Afraid something happened to it. They said, "Well, go outside and play for football." Well, I finally did, and I went out in the front yard, and boy, I was wanting to kick that ball so bad. Well, the main street of town went right by our house, out of town and into town, but the main drag, I kicked that football, and it went way up there. It come down, and a cattle truck
I believe it's Benny Stinny too.
was coming by, heading out of town, and my football landed in the back end of that cattle truck, and I stood there and watched my whole Christmas leave town in the back end of a cattle truck. I had a worse one than that. I was overseas one time for Christmas, and a lot of y'all, I know a lot of you older guys, y'all spend overseas Christmas too, but the USO gave us a little care package and had a little plastic mug and a little pack of cocoa mix and a little bag of hard candy. And I was there at my bunk there, and I laid my candy on the bunk, and I put my cocoa mix in my cup, and I went up the hall there where they had some hot water, and put my hot water in there. I come back down there, look, somebody stole my little bag of candy. I set my cup down, took off running, trying to find my candy. I couldn't find it. Come back to the room, somebody stole my mug of cocoa. Christmas was rough.
You know, a lot of people, that reminded me, you hurt your back in the military, didn't you? It was when you was,
United States Air Force.
That's why we
Marching band.
What? Marching band?
Marching band.
He got a bad back. That's the reason we got to sit down and play instruments. Not only that, we're ornery, but what did you play in the marching band? A guitar?
Piano. Come out there disabled.
You can't even talk to him.
Come out there disabled.
You should have went and seen the Air Force doctor. Air Force had the best doctors.
And I went to see the doctor. He's a smart-aleck doctor. Told me to take my clothes off, sit up on this table.
Okay, we don't want to hear no more.
I did. He took his little hammer, started pecking around my knees, my ankles. I said, they did tell you my back hurting, didn't it? He said, I think I know what I'm doing. He went over to the desk, sat down, commenced writing. He said, what color's your stew?
Hey, that's enough.
That's what I thought. I thought to myself, I ain't got no stew. If I had one, what difference did it make to the doctor what color it was? I was sitting there and he said, what color stew you got? So I got thinking, when I was a kid growing up at home, we had a little old rocking chair and it had a little footstool. And back in, they called it orange naugahyde.
I give up.
So I was sitting there thinking about that. I reckon he got mad. He threw that pencil down and said, what color is your stew? I said, Hoss, I ain't never had but one in my life, and it was orange. He said, no wonder your back hurting.
All right, let's do this song about the worst Christmas.
Let me do that.
We had a little incident happen to us years ago. Now, you've heard a lot of songs, but this song right here, you can tell we wrote it because you don't never hear it on the radio or nothing.
No, look here, no kidding.
Yeah.
This morning on the Hazard radio station, they played that song.
You kidding me?
I ain't lying this time.
Well, I've got a little Christmas story. I'm sorry, but it's sad. It'll either break your heart too or make you scratch your head. A few years ago on Christmas Eve, when Santa was at our house, he must have been tired because he laid down for a minute on our couch. Then he jumped up in a hurry and he checked all his reindeer. They flew off into the darkness. They was scratching from ear to ear. It was the lousiest Christmas we ever had, one we'll never forget. We scratched and knit and combed our hair, and we're not over it yet. Santa Claus don't come to our house anymore, don't care if we're naughty or nice. We're the ones that gave Santa Claus and all his reindeer lice. I got my eye on you there, Indiana. They were late getting back to the North Pole. It took them 3 or 4 days. They scratched and itched so doggone much they almost lost their way. Santa Claus shaved all his hair off, shaved his whiskers too. When they shaved the hair off all the reindeer, Rudolph's nose turned blue. Was the loudest Christmas we ever had, one we'll never forget. Scratched and itched and combed our hair, and we're not over it yet. Santa Claus don't come to our house anymore, don't care if we're naughty or nice. We're the one that gave Santa Claus and all his reindeer lice. We wrote Santa Claus a letter. He called us on the phone. Said he'd drop our presents in the yard, but he wasn't coming in our home. So every year on Christmas Eve out in the snow and ice, he drops them presents in the yard cause he don't want to catch no lice. It was the loudest Christmas we ever had, one we'll never forget. Scratched and itched and combed our hair, and we're not over it yet. Santa Claus don't come to our house anymore, don't care if we're naughty or nice. We're the one that gave Santa Claus and all his reindeer lice. Now you heard our Christmas story. I told you it was sad. I know it's about to kill you, so go on and scratch your head. Make me want to scratch my head, I'll tell you. No,
see Levi sitting. Did you see Levi?
I talked to Levi backstage back there.
Levi over
He
there.
tougher
Levi,
than a frozen
okay,
rope,
look,
that boy.
yeah, he was in about third grade, I reckon. Teacher said, Levi, or she called him, says, I want somebody to spell the word before. Little Willie stood up and said, before. B-E-E. She said, now sit down. Johnny, little Johnny stood up and said, before. B-E-A. Now sit down. Levi stood up and said, before. B-E-F-O-R-E. She said, that's good. Now use it in a sentence. He said, 2 and 2 before.
I think he's kin to you, for sure. I'm talking about that football you got for Christmas there years ago. Now, Doug and them might remember this. When we was going to school here, well, I was on the football team, and I went to Coach Elmer Stevenson, and I said, look, I got a brother at home. He can throw a football a mile. He said, I've seen your brother. I don't think he looks very tough to me. You got to be tough to play football. I said, he's tougher than he looks like. He said, well, he can really throw a football. Tell him to come to practice this afternoon. So I told him there at school, I said, look, Coach Stevenson said he wants to see you practice this afternoon. Said, but you got to be tough. He wants you to be tough now. All right. So he came out there. Well, Elmer Stevenson, coach, walked up to him and handed him a football. He said, here, let me see you pass this. Burley said, I'm tough, but I can't even swallow that thing. But we went on and he got on the team. He watched him and he said, yeah, well, he made quarterback. And he was doing good. We got in the championship game. I think we was playing Woodford County. And he called the huddle, and seconds was running out on the clock, and we had one more chance to score, enough time for one more play. He called the huddle back there, and he said, play 15. I said, we ain't run play 15 all year. He said, I'm the quarterback. I said, play 15. Okay, that's a good play, okay. So I was wide receiver, and I went out there, and what it is, I go all the way to the end zone. He dropped back, throws a Hail Mary. I catch it. The clock runs out. We score. We win the championship. Everybody comes out on the field going crazy. Coach comes up to Burley and says, what in the world made you call play 15? Burley said, I seen them two players walking away from me after that other play. So one of them had a 9 on the jersey. The other had a 6 on the jersey. He said, 9 and 6. He said, yeah. He said, no, it was 9 and 8. He said, 9 and 8 on the jersey. 8 and, dang wrong, I messed that up. 8 and 9, 17. He said, 8 and 9 ain't 15, that's 17. He said, well, I'm glad that you ain't smart as, I ain't smart as you are. We'd lost this game. Boy, I tore it all, Petey, didn't I? Never mind. Maybe I should have been quarterback. Streaming live all over the world, folks.
Look here, got a daughter here. Got one daughter.
I know.
Not a bunch.
Yeah.
She's here, but
She's
her and her friend Claudia here, when they was going to school here, they got caught. Well, they went into algebra. Teacher said, "Got to learn how to do algebra." Said, first thing you need to know is pi r square. And Angie said, no, pi around, cornbread r square. You're rubbing off on me, and I can't even tell them. Anyway, they got caught cheating on this algebra test, and they took them to the office principal and said, these two's cheating on this test. And the principal asked Claudia, said, you cheating? She said, no, sir, I ain't cheating. He asked Angie, said, you cheating? She said, no, sir, I ain't cheating. He said, they both said they ain't cheating. Teacher said, I can prove it. He said, look here at Claudia's test, question number 12. She wrote, I do not know the answer to this question. He said, well, ain't nothing wrong with that. She said, look at Angie's test, question number 12. She wrote, me neither.
I remember one time he got for Christmas. He got him a new pair of boots for Christmas, and they put a rubber snake in it. Oh yeah, and he was opening that present, and everybody got around him was going to take his picture, see what he done when he run his hand down in there and touched that snake. Because Hoss, he does not like snakes at all. Well, he seen them all around him. Said there's something going on here, but then he seen them nice new boots. He said, well, what the heck, yeah. He run his hand down in there and he touched that snake. They all took his picture, but he wasn't in it. He's a whole lot quicker than he looks like.
Oh, thank you.
Thank y'all. We got
I want to apologize, y'all. See, this hand, it's all got that anybody got arthritis? Yeah, that's one of the things that say, welcome to old age. Hope you like ibuprofen Tylenol.
It don't seem to affect your appetite too much.
Hey, look here. There's some smart-aleck people in this world. I went to get my booster shot here about a month ago, and the lady gave me a shot, and I sat down there, and she said, do you have something, a big old long name like that? I said, I don't know. What's that mean? She said, do you have trouble swallowing?
No. Lord, no. I've seen him swallow a whole pork chop before.
I said, look at me, lady. What do you think? She gave me the shot.
He joined Weight Watchers. So far, he's lost $38. Tell him what your wife said to you standing on the scales the other day.
Yeah, I stand on them scales, weighing. And she come through there, and you know how they are.
I know exactly how they are.
You know, don't you, Doug? She said, it don't do no good suck your stomach in like that. And I said, it does. You want to see them numbers?
I remember one Christmas, we was in Sunday school. Now, and the teacher was talking about Christmas, and they'd sing Silent Night, and some little girl, she stood up and asked the teacher, said, what's around yon virgin? Burley stood up and looked at that girl and said, don't pay no attention, Dad. Daddy said we sticking with the King James Version. Stupid.
Talking about preachers. Brother Bill
yeah,
here.
Yeah.
Brother Bill at Bethel Christian Church. Y'all ain't never been out there. You need to come out there and listen to him. But anyway, he was preaching revival up in Virginia. Was it West Virginia?
West Virginia, Beckley, West Virginia.
We went up there to play one night for him, and there was this old man sitting there, and the thing, he'd been coming there at night and brought a little grandson with him. Well, every night he'd fall asleep. He'd be preaching, the old man fall asleep. Well, that night he found he'd had all he'd take. That old man finally got snoring. Brother Bill just stopped. Said, "Son, would you mind waking your grandpa up?" Little boy said, "You put him to sleep, you wake him up."
We love Brother Bill. He pastored the church out there, Bethel Church, about 3 miles south of Nicholsville. Come and see us some Sunday morning. You'll be glad you did. The motto is, come as you are and leave different. Yeah, 10:30, we have services. Come on out there and check us out. But now, he gets, you know how preachers are sometimes. They do get a little long-winded.
Yeah, I know somebody like that.
Anyway, it's been a while back. He was preaching up there and he's going this sermon, and I noticed his eyes was kind of glassed over a little bit. That something was going wrong there. And man, he was going from one book of the Bible to the other, and I said, something ain't right. And I looked at the clock. Shoot, he's going on 12:30. 1 o'clock. I said, I got to do something. I love him to death, and everybody won't walk out. He's the pastor, you know, but so I said, I'm going to get his attention. I picked a hymn book up, hauled off and throwed it right up through the middle of church. I accidentally hit an elderly woman right in the back of the head with it, knocked her plumb out in the floor. I run up there, "Ma'am, I'm so sorry. Are you all right?" She said, "Hit me again. I still hear him a little bit." Let's do the holiday tree.
All right, then what's it in? G?
It's G. It's been, I guess, several years ago now, Brother Jeff Fugate, Clays Mill Baptist Church, called me, said that the governor's wanting to call the Christmas tree down at the state capitol a holiday tree. He said somebody complained or something. I said, that ain't, it's a Christmas tree. That's what Christmas is about, Christ. And he said, well, I need a song about the holiday tree. We're going down there to the courthouse steps and sing it. I said, well, okay. He said, when you want it? He said, Friday. I said, I don't know whether I can do it. He said, the Lord said for me to call you. If you got a problem with that, take it up with him. I wrote the song, but it's called The Holiday Tree. We've been a lot of places playing music, seen a lot of things for sure. If it's a good Lord's will, gonna keep on traveling, maybe get to see a little more. I seen a catfish, seen a horse fly, needle with an eye that couldn't see. I thought I'd seen about everything, but ain't never seen a holiday tree. Jesus is the reason for the season. He's always gonna be. He's the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings, born on Christmas Day. The holiday is a holy day. It's a holy day for us. It's a day we celebrate the birth of Christ, and that's why they call it Christmas. Seen a hot dog stand, heard a rubber band, a market made for a flea. Seen a broad jump and a bicycle bump, and I know you ain't gonna believe me. One time I seen a politician telling the truth, at least that's what he had to say. Thought I'd seen about everything, but ain't never seen a holiday tree. Jesus is the reason for the season. He's always gonna be. He's the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, born on Christmas Day. A holiday is a holy day. It's a holy day for us. It's a day we celebrate the birth of Christ, and that's why they call it Christmas. You pick one, brother. They tried to take the 10 Commandments, took the Bible out of schools. I thought we lived in a democracy where the majority's supposed to rule. Now they're trying to call Christmas something else. What are they gonna think of next? On Judgment Day, I'd rather be right than politically correct. Jesus is the reason for the season. He's always gonna be. He's the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, born on Christmas Day. The holiday is a holy day. It's a holy day for us. It's a day we celebrate the birth of Christ, and that's why they call it Christmas. It's a day we celebrate the birth of Christ, and that's why they call it Christmas. It's getting about time we need to start wrapping things.
Talking about them. I got a politician in the family.
You got a politician?
Well, she ain't a real politician. All she is a city commissioner.
No, she is a real politician.
Not real politician. But anyway, Bethany, see, her and her sister Courtney. Bethany big in this duck hunting. She want to go duck hunting. Got Courtney go with her. Never been duck hunting, but always wanted to go. Well, she run up on this fella and said, I got a world-class duck hunting dog. You come by and get my dog, and I'll tell you where to go, and you'll get you some ducks, guaranteed. Well, they went down there and got the dog, and he told them where to go. They went. They come back about 5-6 hours later. Pulled up in the yard, and that poor dog fell out the back of that truck. It was all wet and nasty and tongue hanging out, and staggered over and laid down under the tree. Guy come out and said, well, how'd you do? And Bethany said, we didn't get no ducks. He said, you didn't get no ducks? She said, no. He said, did you see any ducks? She said, yeah, we saw ducks, plenty of ducks flying over, but we didn't get no ducks. He said, what's the problem? She said, I don't know. Courtney said she didn't think we was throwing the dog high enough.
Oh, come on. I got a little poem here I'm going to read to y'all, and kind of goes along with Christmas, but right at the end of it, it's got a really good message. And then we're going to get Silent Night and Brother Bill up here, but I come up with this right here. 'Twas the night before Christmas in the Moron brothers' house. Burley's watching SpongeBob, and I was asleep on the couch. With no stocking to hang by the chimney with care, we tied the legs up on hung her long underwear. Then Burley woke me up snoring, so I was headed for bed while visions of donuts danced in his head. The milk and cookies I'd put out for Santa was gone, and Burley had a white mustache, and on his chin there was crumbs. Then out on the lawn they arose such a clatter, I grabbed the shotgun to see what was the matter. I worked the shell in the chamber. Burley sprang to his feet, said, who eat the cookies? Don't shoot me, please. Well, I ran to the window. I couldn't go fast enough. I tripped over Burley's guitar, and the shotgun went off. Blowed a hole in the ceiling, so I laid down the gun. I said, I'm sorry, brother. But brother was gone. The moon was abreast on our old tour bus outside. Though it was falling apart, I looked on it with pride. Then what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 9 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver shouting orders with strife, I thought for a minute it was Jeannie, my wife. More rapid than eagles with courses they came, then he screamed and he hollered and he called him some name, now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen. Comment on Cupid, break it up, Rudolph, you and Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, all upside the wall, quit messing in the yard, Lardo will shoot us all. I said, come see this, Burley, hurry up, run. He said, I went to the bathroom, where's your shotgun? Burley said, what's that? I hear on the roof. I said, you ain't gonna believe it, but it's reindeer hooves. We both got kind of scared and turned around, and down the chimney old Santa came with a bound. He was dressed in fur from his head to his foot, all covered in ashes and covered in soot. Had a bundle of toys flung over his back. I think I saw Walmart wrote on the sack. He looked at the long underwear as if to say, what are those? Then he grabbed Burley's pair and he blew his nose. All jokes aside, folks, I wanted to read this because it just caught my attention. The greatest gift of all was given to us on the very first Christmas. We've celebrated it ever since, a Savior for all mankind. I thought how great Christmas would be if Jesus came back on Christmas morning for those that had accepted him in their hearts. But how sad it would be for those who'd waited too late. 'Twas the night before Jesus came, and all through the house, not a creature was praying, not one in the house. Their Bibles were laying on the shelf without care, in hopes that Jesus would not come there. The children were dressing to crawl into bed, but not one ever kneeling or bowing their head. And Mom in her rocker, with her baby in her lap, was watching the late show while I took a nap. When out on the east there arose such a clatter, I sprang to my feet to see what was the matter. And away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but angels proclaiming that Jesus was here. With a light like the sun sending forth a bright ray, I knew in a moment this must be the day. The light of his face made me cover my head. It was Jesus returning just like he said. And though I possessed worldly wisdom and wealth, I cried when I saw him in spite of myself. In the book of life which he had held in his hand was written the name of every saved man. He spoke not a word as he searched for my name. When he said, "It's not here," my head hung in shame. The people whose names had been written with love, he gathered to take to his Father above. With those who were ready, he rose with a sound, while all the rest were left standing around. I fell to my knees, but it was too late. I had waited too long, and thus sealed my fate. I stood and I cried as they rose out of sight. Oh, if I'd only been ready on this tonight. In the words of this poem, the meaning is clear. The coming of Jesus is drawing near. There's only one life. When comes that last call, we'll find that the Bible was true after all.
Amen. Look here, I forgot, I got a little granddaughter. She's sleep feeding under the weather, and she couldn't be here tonight, and she's supposed to be watching on the TV things, what do you call it?
Internet.
Yeah. And she probably sitting there thinking, I forgot about her. Katie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I ain't forgot about Katie.
Kitty cat Katie, what I call her.
Katie went to school, and teacher said, "Katie, can you spell mousetrap?" She said, "Yes, ma'am. C-A-T. Her mom was putting cold cream on her face one night, and she's watching. She said, "Ma, what you doing that for?" She said, "I'm trying to make myself be more beautiful." And then she took some Kleenex, started wiping it off. She said, "What'd you do? Give up?"
We're going to play one more song for you here. We want to thank you again so much for coming out. Man, you can tell if y'all have had half as much fun as us. We've had twice as much fun as y'all. And thank you for coming, supporting this. By all means, don't forget the true meaning of Christmas. I hope everybody makes it home safe. And God bless you and Merry Christmas. We're going to play this song. Then while we're playing, we're going to get Brother Bill to come up here and close us in prayer.
If you know these words, sing along. Y'all sing pretty.
Yeah, they do. This is Brother Bill Bales, Pastor Bethel Christian Church right here. Brother Bill, we're going to be out in the lobby now just as soon as this is over with, so come on out there and visit with us. Brother Bill.
It's been awful good to be here with you all tonight and to enjoy these two guys. I am their pastor, so I need your prayers. But they've talked about the true meaning of Christmas, and I hope everyone here understands that in their heart tonight. Our state's been through a lot. Our nation's been through a lot. God's still on the throne. There's only one way to him. His name is Jesus. He told the people he was the bread of life and that he was the light. He was the way, the truth, and the life. He was the vine and we're the branches. He made a lot of proclamations on our behalf. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, all of us together, we need Jesus for Christmas. Let's pray together. Our Heavenly Father, God, in the name of Christ, as we pray to you, Lord, we realize that Christmas is not easy for everybody. That there are probably people sitting here who've been able to laugh and enjoy for a few hours, but because of a loss or someone that's not here, they have a heaviness about Christmas. And Lord, we come to thank you tonight. There's more to life than just down here. That there's a place you promised where there's no more sorrow or pain, and all the former things are gone away. There's no death, no crying. We'll all be reunited in the blood of Jesus Christ. We pray, Lord, for safety for each one who's come out here tonight. We have friends from different states that's even come here, and we just pray safe travel, Lord. We pray for each young person, each child that's here tonight, Lord, that they would just be protected by you and get to enjoy a Christmas where all the worries of this world are taken away and just the simplicity of love and kindness is replaced by your Spirit and by your presence. Thank you for being our God, and thank you for this night we've been able to share together. In Jesus' name we pray, and amen.
Come see us out in the lobby.
Thank y'all for coming. Be careful
Thank
driving
y'all.
home.
God bless y'all.
Thank you.